folks, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be talking about a boondocking experience we recently had. But first, thank you for being here. We appreciate you joining us.
Yes.
So thank you so much. But yes, we have had a interesting, I will say, boondocking experience. If you recall from our previous one-night stops, we have a membership to Harvest Hosts. So when I say boondocking, that's pretty much what I mean.
Yeah, that's
it. Is a one-night stop. we haven't gotten ourselves comfortable at this point, I think, to do more than one, but I think we could.
Yeah.
I think we've learned enough at this point where we could probably stay more than a night boondocking. But this video is specifically going to be about our stop at Paicines Ranch.
Yes.
This was a one-night stop as we are coming down kind of the California coast, I guess. So kind of from Northern California to Central California. And we made this stop at Paicines Ranch. So,
Yes.
so yeah, let's jump into the details.
Take it away. Right. So as Harvest Host members, the great thing is that we have options to stay at any place that we find in the app when we're looking around for locations that will fit our sized rig. And I think we've got a screenshot that we can show that shows the Harvest Host and the kind of the requirements, you know, of the stay. That's what's kind of nice. That's what you're looking for. So you go in there and then you look for something that will fit your RV and have whatever else it is you're
interested in. And this is
a
subscription based membership.
Yeah.
It's about $80, I think, a year. And yeah, it's a bunch of different places. It's breweries and distilleries and farms and ranches and museums. And I think they've recently added churches. So, and they have a very easy to use, I think, app that lets you research your route. And then it will show you all the places, you know, available. And one thing they've recently added is also information, which is denoted on the map, for dumping stations.
Yeah.
So if that's something you'll need, now you can find that. So
yeah, really
it's really good, really good. We've really enjoyed it because I think this is what our fourth stop.
Yeah, that's our fourth stop.
So we just kind of got into it sort of last year.
Yeah. We had it for a whole year and never even used it. And so once we got into it and we kind of started to get to know our rig more and started to see the capacity of it and what we could do on a one-night stay with what we have. We don't have solar panels and all kinds of extended, you know, inverter whatnots. We have a little inverter and we have some two really good batteries.
Yeah, we have. Do we want to talk about that now?
Nope. We're not going to get to that.
We're not getting there?
We're not going there yet.
When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good.
So the location is Paicines, California. Now, the funny thing about this, and I don't know about you, but I had never even heard of Paicines, California.
Never heard of it.
That's actually a place. It's not just Paicines Ranch. This is actually in Paicines, California.
A town.
Yes.
Small town.
A very small town, yes. And nearby attractions, the city of Hollister, which is probably another city you might not have heard of. It's kind of a small city. I mean, it had like...
Yeah. I mean, it
I don't
had...
remember how many people were there, but...
Yeah, I don't remember how many people it was.
But it sure had all the stuff, right? When you drive down the middle of Hollister, you've got Safeway and...
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Didn't you go into a Napa Auto Parts?
I went into a Napa Auto Parts.
And like fast food places,
stations,
Panda Express, you name it. They had all kinds of stuff.
It had quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And it also is very close to a national park. And we were kind of bummed we didn't get a chance to go to this one just because of the timing and the weather. But it's the Pinnacles National Park. And the Pinnacles National Park is a kind of a newly minted national park. They started in 2013. And as a result of the pandemic, more people started going over to Pinnacles because Yosemite was starting to have so many rules and lockdown and all this other stuff. So Pinnacles is...
And one thing I was going to say about Pinnacles, it was a monument before, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a national monument, and then it was newly minted as a national park
in
2013. Yes. So we stayed there in March of 2023. It was a one-night stay, as she said, and typical for most Harvest Host locations, there's no hookups. So it was just a boondocking, dry camping situation. The thing that's interesting is when you look on the Harvest Host app, the proprietor will say, how many spots they have available. And here they said they had 5 spots available. Now in other places where we've gone where it says they have 3 or 4 spots, you're kind of all in the same area. You know what I mean? Like you're all in the same parking lot, or you're all in the same, dirt, lot or whatever. Here, we actually had our own spot, which is pretty nice.
A big spot, too.
Yeah, it was a big spot. So they had 5 different locations around the ranch, and we'll put a picture in here, but you can actually see where your spot is. It was actually quite nice.
We didn't even know where the other spots were.
Didn't even know
you
where
could see them on the map,
Yep.
but we never saw any other people there really that were maybe staying there. So it was interesting.
Yeah, and on that note, Paicines is a big place. This is a 7,000 acre working ranch.
Yeah.
Yes, and they have all kinds of
Livestock.
Livestock, yes. I was trying to think of the word. Is it food?
Or-
Is it livestock?
Well, also known as protein or food.
Protein or food. Yeah, and they're a working ranch, and so
Unless you're vegetarian.
Unless you're vegetarian, then it would not be that. Yeah, but they also had swag, because one of the things that you do as a Harvest Host member, since you pay your membership and you don't pay anything to stay, you have an up to $20 purchase that you make at the proprietor's location.
Mind you, we always spend more than that.
A wee bit more.
A wee bit.
Yes. But this worked out because we hadn't been to the grocery store, so we just went ahead and bought the proteins that we would typically buy, but it was nice to be able to get them off of this nice working ranch, and everything is sustainable on this ranch, organic and all that. So it was really very, very nice to be able to do that.
And it's quite a bit to pick from.
It is a lot. We'll put the link to we'll put a link to their ranch in the description below. But it's really, and we haven't had a chance to try any of the protein yet. We'll have to let you know in one of our cooking videos. Yes, that the protein that we're using for that cooking video is from the Paicines Ranch.
Yes.
So access and road issues. We came off of 101.
Yes.
And we used our RV Trip Wizard to navigate to get there. Didn't we? I mean, that's part of the RV Trip Wizard. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, we validate against other, tools,
Yeah.
but we primarily rely on our Trip Wizard routing and then the Garmin.
And the Garmin, yes. We use another source called is it Truck Router? We
Truck
use that
Router.
too, yeah. And so this was on CA25. And one thing I'll say about the access and road issues. So you're supposed to get direction. In this particular instance, you're supposed to get directions from the proprietor
After you make your reservation.
Yes. Ours kind of got lost in our email. Both of us are still working. We got a lot of email accounts. So somehow I got lost.
And we had reserved quite a bit. He had reserved maybe a month in advance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the email came, but
we just didn't see it.
we just missed it.
Yeah, we just didn't see it. This is not a place you want to just wander to, and you don't want to just put the address into your GPS, because the pin drop is off from where the ranch is.
Yeah.
And so you might have to do some U-turns, not speaking from experience, but a friend mentioned, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you might have to do some U-turns if you follow directions from your GPS.
Which we did.
Which we did.
Yes.
Yes.
We got lost, and thankfully, even the phone service is a little sketchy.
That's another thing.
Because we had Verizon.
Yeah.
And you were able to thankfully connect with the people there, but we got lost. Had to make 2 U-turns.
Yeah.
Am I jumping ahead?
No, I'm just thinking about, we're so big, you're not trying to just, spin around.
And in California, 25 is a 2-lane road.
Very narrow.
So, and no shoulder.
None.
So one of the turns we made, we just had to kind of keep going until we could find some place to turn around.
Yeah.
Which thankfully wasn't too far down the road.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
And then the second turn was
In the mud.
We kind of took on some mud.
Yeah, we took on some mud, and we were very grateful for our F450.
Yeah, I had to drop it into 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Because we were in some soft, we did get into some soft, very soft grass, mud. And there was a moment there where I was kind of like, uh-oh.
We might have to get towed out.
We might have to get towed.
Yeah.
With the rig still attached. So so there were some, so I think, to your point, you really need to look out for that email because they send the instructions. They tell you all this stuff.
Yeah.
We just somehow missed it.
Yeah, and so there's two things too to look out for too. So from Harvest Host, I think there's a way for them to send automated generated emails. We kept seeing the automated generated emails. What we didn't see is the one that was coming directly from the proprietor. And so just know that you will get those automated emails, and they will say, look out for an email from the host about directions, but you need to be looking out for something separate. So you might search in your inbox for that because it could have gone to spam.
Right.
Lot spacing. We mentioned before that we had our own space, which was very nice. Coming into the property, if you think more about access, you go down a nice tree-laned road.
It's narrow.
It is narrow.
It's really only one lane. So if anybody's trying
coming
to
in the other direction,
there's really nowhere to go. But
no.
Thankfully, when we got there, that wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
I think, again, if you have the email with the instructions, you do pass through a gate, and that gate was also narrow. But it's a narrow road to come down into where the actual parking is for the RVs.
Yeah. So the other thing, when we do the Harvest Host reviews, this is sort of an abbreviated one, so we don't cover all the areas, just since it's a one-night stay and we want to talk a bit about this experience. The next thing is the next listing point here are the amenities, and we already mentioned that it's a working farm, and you have an opportunity to purchase from them. So you can go to their website, you can go to their store, you can buy, if you don't eat meat proteins, you can buy other things from them, like sweatshirts and t-shirts, candles, and
they have all kinds of stuff.
that kind of stuff. But we actually ended up buying ground turkey and steak and pork and so very
some
excited.
Sausages, just to try some things. So excited to try those.
Yeah, very excited to try those. So top 3 and bottom 3, what would you say are the top 3 and bottom 3 here?
I would say number 1, it's the scenery. I mean, when you read the reviews and a lot of people, I mean, that is one of the biggest things about this ranch is it's beautiful. I mean, there's, rolling hills off in the distance, and it's just a very, very pretty scenery or setting. So definitely I'd say the scenery is in the top.
Yep. The fact that we were able to buy, something that we already needed, which was grocery staples, we were able to buy that. That's another one of those top things. So if you're planning to go to a place like this, you can think about it ahead of time and know that fits your fits what you're trying to do.
Yeah, because I mean that's what we actually shopped before we got there, and they tell you to.
Yes.
And then when we got there,
it's in a little cooler.
It's in a cooler waiting outside the office
with
in
your
case
name on
nobody's there.
Yep.
It's in a chest cooler with your name on it.
Yeah.
So you just walk up there and get your meats.
Yeah. We have the meats. This is not Arby's. No. Okay. No. And then finally, the fact that you get your own space. That's pretty nice. Other places that we've been that are Harvest Hosts, you're kind of in a shared space. Here, we were by ourselves. It was great. Yeah. Bottom 3, what would you say?
I would say that that I can't read that.
Yes. So one of the things that we found in other places that we've been that are Harvest Hosts is they have Harvest Host signage.
Oh, yes.
And the signage here was not the best. No. And since we had that whole snafu with the directions, we were trying to figure out where to be and where to go. And so we were, like we said, we're doing U-turns and turning around and all that kind of crazy stuff. Had there been a big Harvest Host sign out with a sign pointing to where to go, there wouldn't have been a question about it.
No,
so that is a thing that is not so good for this one.
Definitely.
The next one was the fact that there were auto-generated emails That was a little confusing because we weren't really sure what to look out for. We thought that the directions were coming in the auto-generated email. We didn't realize that we were to expect an email from
Yeah,
somebody
because
else.
one of the last emails we got, or that that we received from the Harvest Host, auto generated, was keep an eye out for the directions.
Yeah.
So we were, and then we never got any, and I don't know. Somehow it's slipped our mind to even go back and ask where are the directions. So yeah, there was a little bit of a communication, breakdown.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd even sent an email prior to us heading over to the ranch, and just wanted to ask about weather. There's been some weather here, in the across the entire country, but I just wanted to find out, is there anything maybe as far as roads washed out or any kind of issues that we might encounter on our way? And I didn't get a response. So I think we just had some communication gaps.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer because it would have saved us from certainly the getting lost
Getting lost and doing the U-turns.
and doing
Yes.
the U-turns.
Yes. Now, the bottom three, the bottom of the number three of the bottom three things I have is a no direct greeting. In other Harvest Hosts where we've stayed, the proprietor, we've met the proprietor, we were greeted by the proprietor. The nice thing that they did do here is, when you make your purchase, and you go in the cooler, there's a nice note in there to you and that kind of thing. So I guess that could be kind of like a greeting. But that's it for the top three and the bottom three. We learned a lot here in this stay. We learned a lot. And it was in large part because as soon as we pulled in, unhooked, came in, and turned on the generator, the only thing that worked was the microwave. And we're like,
Yeah, and I think we learned more about the RV
Yeah.
specifically, because that's we certainly learned that even when we're lost, we can certainly stay cool enough to make our way and find our way. But the big thing was learning about the RV as we continue to do so when we're not hooked up to power. And we don't have a lot of opportunities to do that. That was really only about the fourth time, right? That I was saying, that we had an opportunity to do that. So, like you're saying, we came in here all ready to, get the fireplace on, and because it's cold, and enjoy ourselves while running the generator, and nothing was working but the generator and the microwave.
yeah.
And the refrigerator, right? I mean,
Yes.
we did do some troubleshooting. We did a fair amount
Yeah.
for people that aren't really completely RV handy.
Well, yeah, we're not RV handy, but we've been doing this for 2.5 years, and so we knew enough to be able to take a few
And we've taken some
troubleshooting
training.
steps.
We've taken some training. We've learned quite a bit.
Yeah.
But so we did. I thought we did a pretty good job troubleshooting.
Yeah.
That was the other thing.
That's the thing
That's
we
the
learned.
big thing. That was the other
big thing we learned.
Because we were really concerned about having heat.
Yeah.
And would the furnace run on just batteries,
Yeah.
or did we need to run the generator?
Yeah.
Because we weren't really looking forward to running the generator all night.
No.
Because
Nobody wants to hear
it's
that.
loud. So
Yeah. And we can't.
And
There
we
was
weren't-
restrictions.
Yeah, there was restrictions.
Yeah.
Most places do have some sort of restriction. They don't want the generators running all night.
night,
So
yeah.
we were a little concerned about, are we going to be in here freezing?
Yeah.
And we had gotten all kind of prepared.
Yep. We pulled out our rumples,
Extra blankets.
extra blankets. It's like I'm gonna sleep in the heavy socks. Had that whole thing figured out. But when we came in and we turned the furnace on, that sucker ran off of the battery, and we're
Without the
like,
generator. So we just didn't know that.
"That's awesome!"
We just didn't realize. So,
Yeah, we just didn't know.
So that was the first thing we really truly did learn.
Yeah.
And then nothing was working after that when we
yeah.
turned the generator
There
on.
was that, yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
so
and we thought we did something. Seeing if the furnace was working, we thought, oh, maybe we tripped something up.
maybe we'd
but,
done something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we went through several things, right, to try
Yeah.
to troubleshoot this.
Yeah, but the top 5 things that we learned is that the first thing is that it's described as, so not just the furnace runs off the battery. The thing that's described in our RV as the electric water heater also runs off the battery. So you can still get hot water off the battery in our RV. So that was very exciting. The second thing that we learned is that our batteries are really good batteries. They lasted us all night, running the furnace all night.
Yeah, and I mean, not all night, right? We dropped the temperature down, but I mean, we left it on to run when it hit a certain low temperature, and it didn't really affect the batteries hardly at all.
Yeah, and the third thing that we learned is that there's actually breakers on the generator. And we found that out, and this leads to our fourth thing that we learned, is the power of the Grand Design 399 forum.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, yes. You posted, after we did our troubleshooting.
Yeah, we did all of our troubleshooting, and I said, okay, we're not figuring this out, so I'm just going to throw something out into the forum. So I documented everything we'd done, tried to make it as clear. I tried to make it as clear and brief as possible, and then I just said, help. Thanks in advance, and just sat back and waited.
Yeah.
And we didn't wait long.
No. I mean, it was less than 5 minutes, and troubleshooting tips started coming in.
We had at least 2 or 3 within
amazing.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was probably the second one that kind of led us to fix the problem.
Yeah. Go check your breakers on your generator, and we're like breakers on the generator.
Breakers on the generator.
All right.
Because we had already checked the electrical panel here inside the RV to check. That was part of our troubleshooting. We'd already checked the breakers and the fuses and all. So we were like, there's nothing wrong with any of that
And here's
stuff.
how handy I am, right? So I take the grate off, and because one of the guys said, look at those wires underneath the...
Well, he said look actually behind the panel, and we can't really look behind it. I mean, we can access it because that's what you were doing.
Yeah, I didn't even see the panel, but I took the grate off, I looked, and I just see a sea of wires. So I took a photo of that, and then I vacuumed it. So that was my
the extent of the handiness.
Extent of my handiness with all of those electrical wires. But we did learn this thing about and we'll put a picture of this in here, but there are 2 breakers on the front of that generator. And so when we went down there, we were just so happy to see that one of those was off and one was on.
Yes. Yep. And as soon as we flipped that one that was off,
everything came back
everything
on.
worked as it was supposed to.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting. And then I would say the last thing that we learned is that we know enough to do level 1 support. We can do that initial troubleshooting. We can, ask ourselves those questions. We can figure some stuff out, and then we go to level 2 support, which is that forum. And it was Adam that helped in the forum? I forgot his name.
I think his name was Adam.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Or Andy. I think it was Andy.
Andy. Okay. Shout out to Andy for his very quick, to all of them for their very quick turnaround
we had
tips.
several people reply, but it was actually Andy, I think, who actually said, go check the breakers on your generator. And we were kind of like, where are they?
We have a generator. We know that part.
We know where the generator is, but where are the breakers?
Yeah.
And they're literally right there on the front, right next to the start button.
Yeah.
But we don't ever start the generator from the generator because we have access to it from the one control panel inside of the RV.
And on our phones.
And on our phones.
Yeah.
So we rarely, if ever, start the generator from the actual generator, so we don't ever have the panel off to have seen or to know that there were breakers there.
Don't
so
need
we
it.
just didn't know. So anyway, but now we do.
Now we do. And we feel like with the batteries we have and what we understand about the RV, unless we're in a situation where we actually have to run the ACs, we feel like we might be able to stay more than a day on what we have in resources right now. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah.
So again, because we have 2 batteries. Is it time talking about the batteries?
Oh, yes. We have 2 batteries.
So we have 2 lithium ion batteries.
Yeah.
We actually went with Lion Energy. And we switched those out. We had the one, I think it was an AGM, I think is what came with the RV. So we swapped those out immediately, pretty much, and put in the 2 lithium ion batteries. And again, we could comfortably go 2 to 3 days as long as we had gas in the generator.
Gas in the generator.
I think we could probably go easily 2-3 days.
Yep.
And probably more if we manage our water better.
Yeah.
But we've never really practiced that or played with that yet, so we might even be able to push that, but easily 2 to 3 days, I think.
Easily, yeah. So if we come back to whether we would give this harvest host a thumbs up or a thumbs down, we'd be looking at access and road issues, lot spacing, and amenities.
Yeah.
I would say Paicines
I'd say it's a thumbs
gets a
up.
thumbs up. Yes.
And Charlie would give it a,
And he
a
did
paw
you wake up for that? Or
but-
I know you could probably hear him
I
snoring.
moved. Yeah, I know he's
Oh, my
snoring down
goodness.
here, but I think he would give it a paw up.
Yeah. He got to see some bunnies.
He did.
He appreciated that. And there was, what else? Some squirrels and some bunnies is
Yep.
what he got a chance to
Yeah.
see. So, so that's Paicines Ranch. This is a Harvest Host review. We are really just enjoying using our Harvest Host membership, getting to know our rig and seeing what the capacity is of it. And
Because we have several more planned.
We do.
For this year. We've got several stops planned because we do need to make a 1 or 2 night stops. So
Yeah.
I try to go there first to see if they're in the route. And if not, we'll end up in an RV park. Or we may try something else. I don't know. We may try Cabela's. We may try. Who knows what we'll try? But yeah, we do like the Harvest Host.
Yeah.
And really have enjoyed the now 4 that we've been to.
Yes. So we'll put a link to our other, because we have a playlist for the Harvest
Yes.
Host. We'll put a link to our Harvest Host playlist. You can go out and check that out and see the other places that we've stayed. And if you like this content, please don't hesitate to give us a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. We are trying to get to 500 people on our channel. That's a short-term goal.
That's a short term. Yes.
We're trying to get to 500 people, and when we get to 500, we'll look at that next goal. But if you can help us get there, that'd be great. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
We do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.